We're always told that the formula for saving is to pay yourself first and then use the rest for expenses. But how do you balance your budget so that you don't feel like you're depriving yourself completely? Today, we talk about how to shop for wants and still be able to save and invest. I'm Edric Mendoza and this is On the Money.
I spend my salary on my whims and wants, not really on the essentials. Yeah, I use it for rent and car maintenance, but most goes to impulse buys, especially when there's a huge sale at the mall. So when I received my credit card bill last week, I got the shock of my life. My credit will eat up almost all of my pay for that month. I really want to stop making impulsive purchases and start saving diligently. Tell me, is it too late for me to start?
Joining us on the show today is financial advisor Sasha So Seng Yu. Welcome to the show, Sasha.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, so that case that we saw in the video is, I think, typical of many single professionals, right?
Yes, true.
What advice can you give a person like that who has these shopping and spending urges?
Okay, we're talking about shopaholics, right?
So, right, I think so. That's a good term for
exactly.
it. Yeah. Okay.
We have to understand what are her urges? Why does she shop a lot? Why does she spend a lot? So is it because she spends a lot of time at the mall? Or is it because she gets excited when there are bargains? Or is it very attractive for her what the credit card companies are offering, the 0% monthly installments, wherein she gets to pay either 6 months or 12 months? So, and you even get to choose, right? Right. So it's really very attractive because I myself get tempted to do that as well. And then aside from that, so what can we do now that we know what her problems are? So if she spends a lot of time at the mall, then maybe she can just avoid going to the mall.
That's good.
Right? Not unless she has something to buy, so she can come up with a list.
Something very specific.
Exactly. And then she has to follow that list. But it's really, really very hard not to go to the mall nowadays, right?
With the weather,
exactly.
People like
so
to
you want to stay there and then just pampalamig lang,
of course.
Right? And so maybe she can bring along a shopping buddy. Somebody who can always remind her of her problem. Somebody who can tell her, now let's say if she's about to buy something on impulse, you know, tell her you don't need that.
Right. So a shopping buddy that will not encourage it. That's what
yeah,
you're saying, because the shopping buddy.
Yeah,
the shopping
exactly.
Buddy,
you have to stay away from people who are shopaholics.
A shopping buddy who will help you stay away. Okay.
Exactly. And then after that, I would suggest that she pay with cash. Do not use her credit card at all. Take it out from her wallet where it's very accessible.
Right.
And then have a separate, like a mini wallet, and then just put something there that says for emergency use only.
That's good advice.
Right?
Yeah.
So like when you pay with cash, once you open your wallet, you see it dwindling. Right? So you're aware of that.
You feel the sting.
Exactly, exactly. And it somehow gives you a budget for the day. So this is how much you're just going to spend for the day or for the week, right? And then lastly, she must come up with a budget, a financial
in general,
plan.
No?
Exactly.
Not just
and
for her
then
shopping.
Yeah, just follow that.
Okay, that's great advice. I mean, removing all these temptations, no? Tell me, so in giving a budget, what advice can you give? How should she go about this? Any pointers and principles?
Okay.
Assuming she makes about 60,000 a month.
Right.
Right.
So let's say she knows how much she's earning and she has an idea already as to what her fixed expenses are, right? So she can list that down. Then there's a budget allocation that she can have, and then write down the percentages. Like let's say on my part, if she approached me and asked, I would give her percentages, like let's say 5% for donation. Why donation? Because it will give her a sense of self-fulfillment, knowing that she can help a certain organization, and it will give her a sense of responsibility in wanting to help more, right? To earn more, to be able to help more. And
a
then,
greater purpose, right?
Yes,
for why am I making this money?
Yeah, true,
Good.
true. And then aside from that, of course, she has to set aside maybe around 30% for her fixed expenses.
Such
and
as?
then,
What would fixed
such
expenses
as her
be?
food, transportation,
bills, for example?
Bills, exactly,
Cell
yeah,
phone
right,
bills,
right,
like
right.
that. Now, if she's paying utility bills, like
Yes.
that. Okay.
But then we're assuming, let's say, maybe at her age, I don't know, maybe she has financial obligations or none. If none, then so much so, better for her, right? And then after that, she can save 15% can go to shopping and leisure because she really has to reward herself.
Okay.
Naman. It's
So
not
don't
all
strip herself from
of
that.
what's the point of working if you can't enjoy it, right?
It's just
But
you're saying control it now.
it has to
Excellent.
be controlled.
Okay.
And then 10% can go to the emergency fund, which is just in case something happens at the end of the year. Let's say you also have to pay your taxes, you can get it from there. Or if you have to have cash to pay for medicine just in case
Medical
you get
bills,
sick,
etc.
right? And then 20% can go to your bank savings. And then the remaining 20%, you can put it into investment.
Okay. What would be the difference between the bank savings and the emergency fund?
Bank savings would contain, let's say, a minimum of 3 months worth to 6 months worth of your fixed expenses.
Okay. That's the emergency fund.
For me,
Yeah.
my emergency fund would be, let's say, by the end of the year, if you want to treat yourself, if you want to go on a vacation, that's where you can get it also.
Ah, okay.
Diba?
So one of the two, right?
Yeah.
Either the bank savings. Okay. All right. And then investments, you're saying those would be for longer
For
term?
for other financial products that she can avail of, she can get for her money to grow. That's the portion where she can let her money work for her.
Now, in this particular case, the person had a credit card bill that actually
Yes.
shocked her. That's almost a month's worth.
Yes.
How would you now factor that in with the prescribed budget breakdown that you gave?
I think before she follows that, I would suggest that she pay off her credit card
That's
bill
good advice.
first.
Okay.
Just sacrifice that 1 month.
Right. If she can afford the whole
Yeah.
amount already, right, and
Just
cut down
pay.
expenses because of the interest, etc.
True.
Pay it off first.
Yes.
Okay. Then you can go for this allocation.
Yes.
Let's say Sasha, she says, well, I can't afford to pay the whole thing at one go. I have expenses. Which of the prescriptions did you give earlier that she use to pay off the
Yes.
credit card?
She can use the emergency fund.
Excellent. Let's talk about, so she has no financial obligations, right? And you've given a prescription.
Yes.
How would you now advise the saving and investing part for this particular lady?
I'm going to sit down with her and ask her what her long-term plans are.
Okay.
Does she want to start her own business?
Long term. Can you put a
Yes.
number to that? So let's say she's in her 30s. What's long term?
At what
As
age does she
far-
want to retire?
Excellent. Okay.
Does she want to retire at the age of 65? And at that age, how much money does she think she needs
Excellent.
to be able to, just live the rest of her
Okay.
life
So that's the term. All right.
Yes.
So how would you now advise the saving and investing portion?
I would suggest that she get a variable life insurance.
Okay.
That's for forced savings on her part because there's a minimum product where she can pay just for 10 years, and then part of it goes to the insurance portion, and a bigger part of it also goes to the investment portion.
Okay, those are the products that she can put it in.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk about, because you had a very good description of the percentages earlier.
Yes.
Which one should she prioritize? I've settled my credit card, for example, my bill. I like this prescription. Which should she prioritize of those items if she had to sacrifice? Which one cannot be sacrificed, for example?
Investment.
and
Donation, of
saving.
course. You
Okay.
should give to donation.
Okay, so that would be the priority. No, so on a month-to-month, you're saying how can she now make sure that she guards the savings and investment, for example?
Open a separate account for each.
That way, she
Yeah.
cannot. It's not tempting.
She
no?
can't touch any.
Right.
Yeah.
So a separate account from, let's say, her payroll ATM.
Yeah.
Which would be almost like
Yeah,
having
so
the cash
para
on hand.
mas magulo. So,
Okay.
the lesser headache. So
Right.
just stick to the plan.
Okay, excellent. And then after setting all of those up, you're saying the products that she can now look into for the savings investment. You mentioned one,
Yeah.
VUL,
Yes.
right? Typically, what is a VUL term now if a person was to opt for this type of product?
There are different kinds of variable life insurance products. For her age, I would suggest
This is early 30s-ish,
yeah,
right?
at her early 30s. She can have one wherein she gets to pay only for 10 years. Let's say she's insured for 1 million, and then she only pays 50,000 a year. So if she pays 50,000 a year, every month that would be just around 4,000. So it's very affordable for her. And then a variable life insurance works in such a way that if you just leave the money there and you let it grow, let's say if you're, I hope she reaches the age of 60 or 65 when she really needs the money, assuming that it's working at, let's say, a rate of return of 10%, let's say. the fund value can be as much as 6 million. See, so on the
By that
spot,
time,
yeah, so you just shelled out 500 grand. We're just talking about one policy. And as you go on, you can afford to get more.
More, yeah. So
Right.
you're saying the biggest benefit here is the forced savings portion
Yeah.
of
Yes,
doing
forced
that. Can you give an
savings.
idea with the number you gave earlier, so 50,000 a month for 10 years, how much of that will now go into the investment portion?
They're 50,000, yeah.
Yes.
We can just talk about like the percentages because let's say on the first year, of course, it will go to charges, right? And then as the year passes by, a bigger part of it will go to the investment portion, and it's something to be discussed thoroughly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So there is a substantial amount that does go to the investment.
Yes.
But it happens towards the latter part
Yes,
of
of
the
course,
payments of
yes.
the premiums or the amount given. Okay. So you're saying for a person young, 10 years. What about if they're older, 40s, 50s?
There are products that are just one-time payments with insurance as well. That's for conservative
I see.
clients.
Okay, so you suggest take the one-time option
Yes,
for those
yes,
clients.
yes.
Any other products that they can look at apart from the VUL in terms of saving and investing?
Long-term this
wise?
has no insurance portion, so they can go into mutual funds.
Okay.
Yes, they can invest in equities, bonds, or a balanced of both.
Right, and this is again a long-term decision.
This is a long
right?
term. Yes.
If she had a short-term goal, would you still advise mutual funds? Let's say 1 to 3 years. I want to save up for this new gadget or whatever.
I would suggest that you just put it in the bank.
Okay.
For me.
Rather than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, we're gonna have more questions for you in a bit.
All right.
In the meantime, stay tuned on The Money. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Money. Let's check what Salve Duplito has for us in Salve Says.
The greatest paradox of personal finance is this. Those who are employed work long and hard hours but don't know what to get out of it.
You see, only 3 out of 10 in an informal survey I made have useful knowledge about retirement benefits offered by their company. Most have some knowledge, but not enough for them to seriously plan how to get by when they turn 60. But some of the most disturbing trends are these. Some companies offer very little in retirement benefits or even none at all. There seems to be little or no effort to inform employees beyond the usual pamphlets. And of course, overseas Filipinos are offered none.
Since Labor Day has just passed us by, here's a little reminder. Take a little trip down to your HR office. Ask a few questions. It's their job to inform you. You might come across a few big surprises.
You might not know that if you have at least 10 years of service, your retirement benefit can go up to 150% to 200% of your monthly gross income times your years of service. Some companies might even go higher than 200%. If your company is not offering any retirement benefit, whether it's a startup or not, it is violating the law. Republic Act 7641, or the new retirement law, requires all companies, big or small, to give at least 50% of salary times years of service when they retire at age 65. So ask about retirement pay when moving to a new company. If you've been employed for 8 years, know your company policy first before jumping ship. You might miss the bonus when you have 10 years of service. People tell me all the time when they are 20 that retirement is too far away. Then they get married, and at 30, expenses get too crazy that retirement takes a backseat once again. At 40, they get a bit panicked because mortgages and other debt are eating most of their income.
Before they know it, they're 50. And oops, there's no time left. The time to be concerned is now.
Still with us is financial advisor Sasha So Seng Yu and of course Melissa Hecoleo with your money questions. Hi Mel.
Hi Edric. Hello, Sasha.
Shopping and saving.
I know.
Yeah.
This is an issue for most people, I think.
Exactly.
So anyway, let's start. Christian asks, how much of your income should be for shopping and saving? Is there a recommended percentage that will serve as a guide and limit for shopaholics and saveaholics?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, she can set aside 15% for her shopping and leisure.
Okay.
And then 30% for her fixed expenses. Savings, that would mean bank accounts, right?
Right.
Bank savings. She can set aside 20% of that.
Okay. Okay, so 15% you said for shopping?
But she can adjust because she's such a shopaholic. So she might, oh, no, we're talking about
Yeah, we're talking about
Christian,
the
yeah.
right.
But he's saying for that type of person.
Yeah, but what's really important is for him to have a specific percentage and just really follow that.
Okay, and same with the saveaholics, because there are those people who like save, and maybe they're thinking they're going to take it to their grave.
Exactly.
Spend it in wherever they end up.
Yeah. So for your prescription earlier with the shopping budget, the fixed expense, and the savings, if Christian was to prioritize and say, okay, which one do I need to put first?
Bank savings.
Okay, and then between fixed expense and shopping?
Fixed expense, of
Okay,
course.
so whatever is remaining, that's kind of your kitty to work with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
so
does.
that will help Christian, right? Oh, this is all I got to work with. So
Right. But what about those people who keep saving? Because there are those people who oversave to the detriment sometimes of their family.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But then what we can do is that, as I said earlier, he can put 3 months worth of his fixed expenses in the bank.
Okay.
And then any excess of that, he can invest it.
Okay.
Mutual funds or put it into stocks.
Okay.
Just to take advantage of the returns.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Now the next question comes from Sarah, who asks, if you only shop when there is a post-season sale, which happens twice a year, is that considered healthy or will you end up buying more?
I don't think it makes sense to buy on sale right after, because the reason why you go shopping is, let's say for Christmas, the reason why you go shopping is because you want to give gifts. So why will you go shopping after Christmas? Does it make sense?
Well, for those people who go shopping because they didn't receive the gifts they wanted and want them on discount, so shopping tends to be a want, right?
Yeah.
So you either shop for need or for want.
Yes.
So I guess this person is asking, like, does it really make sense to go shopping just because there's a sale?
No.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So
and
no.
I think Sarah's also asking, does it make sense to shop one time, big time? Right? Waiting for those sales, or to kind of spread it out? Because if you do a one time, big time, you might just end up splurging because you have all this pent up. So what are your thoughts on that?
I would think that it would be better if you just manage your time. And then, because the key word there is control. And if you're just going to go shopping one time, big time, there's a tendency for you to just
lose
overspend.
control.
Yeah.
Binge. It's like
Right.
binging.
Yeah.
You've been starving
It's so
for
suppressed, right?
months on some horrible diet,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're presented with a buffet of your
Exactly.
favorite food,
Exactly.
Right.
and that's it.
And then you just tell yourself also one time lang naman eh.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
rationalize, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So,
maybe,
control.
and maybe shop as needed.
Yeah,
Only.
that's good
Shop
advice.
as needed.
And
True.
within the cap, I think Sasha prescribed a cap earlier, so use that cap so you know this is all I've got. Spend it,
Yes.
and that's it.
Also
Excellent.
work out your wants and your needs.
Great.
Okay, now Maricel asks, when can you claim that your purchases are good buys?
Only when you buy what you need.
Okay.
Wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So you should only buy your needs, but what about your wants?
I'm not saying that you just not buy anything for yourself or reward yourself. But you have to reward yourself for you to be able to feel that you've worked so hard.
Right,
But
right.
as I said, you need control.
That's
I mean,
true.
would you buy a nice pair of shoes every week?
Right.
Right?
Well, it depends. No, I'm not saying for me, but no, so
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is, so it's considered a good buy if, let's say in the case you said earlier, I already put a cap for myself every month for my shopping, whether it's a want or a need, but I'm able to spend within that amount.
Right.
Would that be considered a good buy?
Yeah.
Because it's controlled, so whether it's
Yes.
want or need, as long as it's
Well,
within
what
what
do
you
you
can afford.
consider a good buy? I personally consider a good buy is if I have spent something that maybe I've splurged on, but I'm still using it 5 or 10 years
Yeah.
later. Well, then
Yeah.
you know what? I got my money's worth out of
True.
it.
Yeah.
True.
So I think that for me that
Yeah.
qualifies a good
yes.
buy.
Yes, that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Rather-
I've got a pen that I bought many years ago, and
it
I'm
lasts
very
you.
attached to it, and it's a good buy. It costs
Right.
a lot, but
Good.
yeah.
Would a good buy also be, for example, you want item A and you know it's something you've set, you've got a budget for it, you canvass 3 different places to buy it, and you found the best deal here? Would that be considered a good buy as well because you went through the motions and you got a good deal?
A good buy would be for me something that you got something that's made of there's quality in
I
it,
see.
not just because you
Right.
got it cheap.
Not just value.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right.
or value, not
Yes.
just price.
Yeah.
Quality,
Yeah.
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 Not just
I
price.
don't mind spending a lot, just for as long as I know it's going to last.
Okay. Thanks, Sasha. This is from Dexter. The question is, ano ang unang hakbang para makapag-save ang isang minimum wage earner? What is the first step to help a minimum wage earner start saving?
Identify the needs first. Like minimum wage earner would be his fixed expenses would be food and transportation, right? Maybe
Basically.
And rent.
and rent. So set aside for that, and then try to open a bank account, and then I'm so sure that there will be some left over for investment.
And I guess once you identify those fixed items, see if there is any way you can cut back on them.
If possible,
If
yeah.
possible,
can.
if
Sasha, yeah.
possible.
If he can.
Because maybe he should literally put aside a certain amount every month and then work with that budget
Yeah.
Yes,
for
that's
the
true.
expenses. So pay himself first and then use the leftover
Right.
for
If
the
there is
expenses.
any, yeah, that makes sense. I know, for example, rentals, you can look for a place where you can share a space
Yeah.
rather
Yes.
than just a few of you, so you spread out the rent.
That's true.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay, now Jefferson asks, I've saved over 500,000 pesos in the bank. At what point should I start investing? I need about 300,000 for my emergency fund.
Good problem.
If he
Right.
he needs 300,000 for his emergency
already has
fund.
And he
500.
has it,
Yeah,
so he's
so-
got it.
So,
200,000 can go to investment.
so he should
Okay.
start now.
Yes.
He already
can.
has it.
He
Yeah.
can.
Yes. And what would you recommend? What kinds of investments
That's the
would you
next question,
recommend
yeah.
for Jefferson?
He can go into
200,000.
mutual funds. He can go into
Okay.
mutual funds, or since I'm in the insurance company business, I can also suggest variable life insurance where there's a minimum cash out of just 100,000.
Okay. So it
Okay.
can fit.
into
Is that
that,
is that the lump sum
The lump sum.
VUL?
There is a lump
Okay,
sum.
is there a benefit to the lump sum VUL versus the
fund?
monthly VUL?
The monthly
Paid
VUL.
in paid in staggered amounts, yeah.
Well, for the lump sum, a bigger portion will go to the investment.
Okay, so that would mean that Jefferson gets to benefit from the
Yes.
investment right away.
Yes.
Because
Does
he's
not
able to.
have to wait
Yeah.
1 or 2 years
Exactly.
before it's put in.
And if it has already made money, he can just take it out a year after.
Okay.
Excellent. Now, should Jefferson also look at, because he gave us very few figures to work with, right?
Yeah.
Should he look at his goals and what else he has? For example, if he already has insurance, would you still recommend VUL?
I would if he could. Yes.
Instead of putting it all in a mutual fund, for example?
Yeah, for protection. We don't know if
For
he
added
has.
protection?
Added protection
he
on
already
top
has
of
insurance.
insurance?
Oh,
So
I'm
assuming
sorry.
he has already, would you still recommend a VUL or should he go straight to a mutual fund?
He can go into mutual funds.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
So look at the other things he has to
Yeah,
work with. Okay.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Okay. Anyway, send us your money questions via email, Facebook, or Twitter, and we'll try to answer them in our upcoming episodes or on our next Q&A Friday.
Right. Shopping, control. I like that dynamic that you talked
Right.
about, Sasha. Mel, that's our show today. I'm Edric Mendoza. Join us again tomorrow for more Talk and Tips so you're always right on the money.